6060 973. More of your calls in a few moments' time. Tom Swarbrick in for Eddie Mayer on LBC. 6:17. News headlines. Bill Overton.
Government data is showing another 14,542 new positive coronavirus cases in 24 hours. Nottingham City Council said it's expecting stricter lockdown measures any day. Facebook and Twitter highlight a misleading post by Donald Trump linking the risk of coronavirus to flu. The weather, showers still for the Midlands, Wales, Northern Ireland and north of England tonight. Elsewhere dry and breezy with a low of 5 degrees. LBC Travel, I'm Dave Goff. There are queues on the M25 anti-clockwise. 2 lanes are closed because the car has broken down between junction 27 for the M11 and junction 26 for Waltham Abbey. It's very slow on the M1 northbound after an accident earlier on between junction 8 for Hemel Hempstead and junction 9 for Redbourne. Embarking the A13, Ripple Road westbound stays closed at the Lodge Avenue junction because of an accident, so there are queues from the Goresbrook interchange. In the West End, Regent Street is closed in both directions between Oxford Circus and Great Marlborough Street. That's because of a gas leak, so there are queues. And on the Underground, there's no service on the Northern Line southbound from Camden Town to Kennington via Bank. That's because a train has broken down.
LBC.
At Lloyds Bank, we're by the side of all our customers, whoever they are, whatever their situation. From young couples trying to make ends meet, to the parents unexpectedly welcoming their children home, to those getting to grips with the new normal. We are here to support you, offering useful, practical advice to help you feel in control. For more help, visit us online or speak to us over the phone or in branch. Lloyds Bank, by your side.
This is LBC. And big report. We usually say go big or go home. But now we're saying go big from your home. Order the car you love from the thousands online and then collect in store. Contact-free kitchen siding, sanitized cars, and a whole lot of loving from 2 readers. Big Boring Love has never been so clean. Order online at bigboringworld.co.uk. This is a message from the government. The law has changed. You must self-isolate if you test positive for coronavirus or are told to self-isolate by NHS Test and Trace. If you do not, you risk a penalty of £1,000 or more. Testing and isolating are vital to stopping the spread of coronavirus. Because this is so important, the government is now providing financial support for those who need it whilst self-isolating. You could be eligible for a £500 support payment if you're on low income and are unable to work because you're self-isolating. Find out if you're eligible at gov.uk/coronavirus. Break the cycle of infection, not the law. Stay alert. Control the virus. Save lives.
You can trust your friends for a great time, but when it comes to doing a great job around the house, you can always rely on trustatrader.com.
Authentic Lebanese cuisine by Marouche. Exquisite comfort food. Our restaurants are open for takeaway and deliveries. Wherever you are, we'll try and get it to you. Call in or order through Uber Eats, Deliveroo and Just Eat. Enjoy legendary Lebanese food at home from Marouche. Fancy recreating your own dishes at home? Discover the authentic ingredients imported from Lebanon that we have available at marouche.com. Hear that? That's the sound of Mo zipping along in a free now black cab going to his meeting. And that's him zooming to town with friends in a free now private hire vehicle. Black cab, private hire vehicle. Black cab, private hire. Black cab, private hire. See, with black cabs and private hire vehicles together on ride-hailing app Free Now, you're in control. So however you roll, download Free Now and get 50% off your first ride with code TAXI. Terms and conditions apply.
Tom Swarbrick on LBC.
With O2 Business, who offer as much flexibility as you need for your business.
My late night show, Late Nights with Tom Swarbrick on LBC, Mondays to Thursdays, 10 p.m, as if you didn't know, is the unofficial home of many things. First of all, the publican. Secondly, the unofficial home of the NHS coronavirus app. And thirdly, recently, the unofficial home of the future. Every now and again, we cotton on to various ideas that are doing the rounds that provide us it's what's called a giggle factor, an idea so out there yet is being worked upon that is going to completely change all of our futures that at the current moment feels so outlandish as to be slightly laughable. We discussed on the programme the other night the idea of Neuralink. This is a Elon Musk-inspired idea, a chip that goes into the head of the pig that can read all its brain signals that could be used, he says, to get rid of Alzheimer's, to cure blindness, to cure paralysis, if in the future it comes off. I get really genuinely quite excited about the idea of what the world is going to look like as this technological change happens over the next 15 to 20 years in a way that perhaps it hasn't done over the last 40. All the talk is that this technological change that we are about to undergo is going to happen at such a speed that the last 40 years, and there's been an awful lot of technological change over the last 40, is going to look very, very slow by comparison. So imagine a world where oil is no longer the biggest prized commodity, where you don't need to fill up your petrol or fill up your car at a petrol station, and we have to rely on certain countries who have records of human rights abuses, for example, that are very, very grim. We don't have to rely on those countries to provide our energy. That would massively change the face of the world, I thought. 0345 6060 973. If you think any of what the Prime Minister has announced today, the idea that wind could power all of our homes by 2030, is realistic. Mark's in Hamilton to kick us off. Hi, Mark.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm very well, sir. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so we're presently taking 2 gigawatts of energy storage to development to be operational by 2030. That alongside, I mean, that's just going to, in total, we need about 40 gigawatts of energy storage. So we see that being a combination of about 10 gigawatts of pumped storage hydro and about 30 gigawatts of green hydrogen, along with all the offshore renewable and solar that's coming onto the system. That will make our system net zero. We will achieve our net zero target.
And you're doing that because of the technology that allows you to store that energy first, right?
The reality is, as we all know, wind and solar is intermittent, i.e. the wind only blows when it blows and the sun only shines when it shines. So that isn't the case. You need to store that energy. And for long-term storage, the best way is through pumped storage hydrogen. Pumped storage hydro is a very proven technology. 95% of the world's energy storage is used through that technology. And then we're pushing ahead, the country, or globally, we're all pushing ahead to produce green hydrogen, which will store the energy for when it's required.
You're in this sector, right? This is a part of the renewable sector that you work in. Is it the case that this is basically now inevitable, that all our futures are going to come down to energy storage, renewable energy storage, and the days of oil and gas are numbered?
It's not numbered. It's a fantastic thing that's happening. I mean, I would thoroughly recommend everyone watch the Sir David Attenborough program that was out on Sunday night, and it'll give you a very sharp reality of where we're heading with climate change if we don't all take action now. I mean, we need to all change our way of thinking and